Hit the ground, the sirens blare. Feel the static in the air. Next gen rising, we don't care about the fear clinging there. Step in line, hear the beat drop. Body, mind, so we don't stop. We won't stop. Train it up, train it high. Next gen reaching for the sky. Push the limit, don't ask why. This is how we're born to fly. March to the future, neon glow. Through the fire we will grow. Every move a deadly flow. Next gen rising, let it show. Eyes ahead, the rhythm calls. Stand up tall, we break the walls. Train it up, train it high. Next gen reaching for the sky. Push the limit, don't ask why. This is how we're born to fly.
Hit the ground, the sirens blare. Feel the static in the air. Exchange rising, we don't care about the fear you're clinging there. Step in line, hear the beat drop. Body, mind, so we don't stop. Train it up, train it high. Next gen reaching for the sky. Push the limit, don't ask why. This is how we're born to fly. March to the future, neon glow. Through the fire we will grow. Every move a deadly flow. Next gen rising, let it show. Eyes ahead, the rhythm calls. Stand up tall, we break the walls. Train it up, train it high. Next gen reaching for the sky. Push the limit, don't ask why. This is how we're born to fly.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Next Gen Training here on the Sparta HQ Network. I'm Mr. Bennett. I'm going to be going. The coach, he is taking a hiatus. Again, he's certainly finishing up the basketball season with the 5th and 6th grade girls teams. So he's slated to rejoin our show on January 8th of next year of 26. So about 3 weeks, you'll see the coach on unless something happens in the meantime. But certainly want to keep keep the show going and flowing. So again, I'm going to be joined by my partner tonight. We're going to have a part two discussion on martial arts. So certainly looking forward to that discussion. Make sure when you come in tonight, make sure you hit the like button as you come in. Certainly it helps supports the show. Also consider becoming a member of the Sparta HQ Network. Hey, Craig, how you doing tonight? That you're with us tonight. Just a few ground rules before we get started. Make sure that you keep the chat. We're not going to have any interviews tonight, but make sure you keep the chat clean tonight. So again, just as you come in, make sure again no personal attacks, insults, or threats, offensive language. Including slurs of any kind. Certainly we don't appreciate those. But just making sure you keep it clean tonight, keep it classy as we always do. Certainly on Next Gen Training show. I'm not going to talk about the other shows, but certainly for Next Gen Training, we like to keep it classy here. So just make sure that you do that, and certainly anything you want to give to the channel to us personally. You see our Cash App scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So definitely looking forward to this conversation tonight, and certainly my co-host who will be helping to drive the train tonight is our guy, the president of certainly Sparta HQ Network, the CEO, the Grand Poobah, the Spartan himself. We have Peter in the building tonight. So how you doing tonight, sir?
What is going on, Paul?
It goes good, sir. You're looking pretty cleaned up. I see the hair is kind of shaved. You got the kind of shadow beard going on. You look very handsome. You're a handsome guy, and you probably took 20 years off your age, looking that way. So
You
I'm
could
liking
thank
the
the
look.
puppy for that because he had a habit of biting my beard and pulling on it and hanging onto it. He wouldn't let go.
Mm,
So was it? Yeah, yesterday morning when I was, trying to walk him and doing all his thing and playing with him a little before I went to work,
right.
he grabbed my beard and hanged down. And he pulled and he was yanking on it. I'm like,
Oh my
you know
gosh.
what? Fuck this. I went to him. I went upstairs, buzzed it right off.
Wow. Wow. Well, again, I thank the beagle. Getting you the
Yeah,
shades.
get a puppy that says we fun again. Start all over again.
So
Yeah.
yeah, mine he would chew carpet. In fact, we got rid of most of our carpet in the house because he just wanted to just chew on the carpet. So, but the carpet was old and we need to get it replaced anyway. So we replaced a lot of it, or we got like a very low power carpet where he wouldn't have to do that. But I want to return a sense of normalcy to the show. So usually when we open up Next Gen Trading, we like to take an assessment of where people are. So we have this pies assessment like we like to do. Pies meaning it's an acronym for physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual health. We certainly like to query those in the chat as well as the hosts themselves. So rather than just saying how you doing, how you doing in each one of those areas of your life. So Peter, I'll ask you, how are you doing physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually? I know it's been a really trying last week for you, and a lot of transition and changes that have taken place.
Hmm.
But just where you're at today, how are you doing? And if you want to just break down each one of those areas, and again, feel free in the chat if you want to share your pies. How you doing physically? How's your health? And your emotional and intellectual, spiritual well being. If you care to share those, and certainly you can certainly use the chat
So
to share that.
physically, I'm just tired. It's been through a lot the last 2 weeks. Be honest, percent honest with everybody. With Alex passing, trying to have something normal in my life, it was hard. So I'm still trying to recover from that and working on top of that, doing a lot of parties at work and everything. It took a toll on me
Mhm.
emotionally. I'm still trying to come to terms. Alex not with us.
Sure, that makes sense.
The new puppy's keeping my mind busy from that because I don't really have time to sit. Because every time I sit and think about something, he's getting into something.
Mhm,
Because he's tiny. He's like this small right now. So
mhm.
everything I have puppy proof the house, he finds a way to get into it somehow.
Yeah.
So he's keeping me on my toes. Except that I'm doing well overall. I could be worse. Spiritually, I'm doing the best I could, to be honest with you, with Alex passing.
Mhm.
A lot of questions are not answered. I know God had his reason why he took him away from me. And I know we don't really talk about religion on the channel, but this is one exception I will say. It's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah,
And I'll leave it at that.
I got you. I got you. And that process is going to continue for a while. But certainly, my hope for you is that you continue to grow, certainly spiritually, even through this. That you learn how to mitigate some of the pain, how you can grow stronger from it, how you can learn from this and just be a better person, certainly from the loss. And again, you have this new opportunity now where you can certainly learn from this new responsibility that you have with Apollo, and that you continue to progress in that area. But as for
One thing
me,
I will
yeah,
say, I'm sorry to cut you off, is I learned one thing about this is we need to treasure time we have with each other,
there you
not
go.
only with our animals, with each other, and remind each other just to say simple things. Like I'm not great at it sometimes, but I appreciate all my friends.
Mhm.
My friends are my family. So I will say one thing, Paul. Thank you for being in my corner, and I love you for that.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, and certainly, having folks who'll be there for you, especially in your tough times and whatnot. That's what that's really what it's all about. We can all be better at that. But as for me, feeling pretty good. I'm pretty sore. I'd taken a week off, almost 2 weeks off from training. I just felt my body needed a rest. I had a lot of kind of nagging ailment, especially in my arms, my forearm, because I do a lot of gripping, grabbing weights and pulling, and
Mhm.
so a lot of tension in my forearm, my tricep, my lats, and so I just wanted to take a week off. A couple weeks off, and then lo and behold, this weekend you had that big snowstorm. I had 8 inches in my driveway, and it also happened that my snowblower died. So I had 100 foot driveway, and I had to basically shovel it manually, and got through it. I used good technique, used my legs. I almost squat when I do shoveling. I try not to use my back. Since my wife came out towards the end and tried to help me out towards the front, and I told her, use your legs. And the next day or so, she was talking about how her back was hurting her. So you got to be real careful with, especially when you're shoveling heavy snow or whatnot, to make sure you protect yourself. So I used pretty good technique, but that certainly wore me out. But I went and got me a deep tissue massage the next day, and really that helped to do a reset on me. And I just had my first leg workout in a couple weeks yesterday, so I'm feeling a bit sore from that. But otherwise, feeling pretty good physically overall. No other health complaints. Intellectually, always learning. Emotionally, very in a very good place with everybody. My daughter's home, so it's good to see her, and it's good for her that she can kind of reconnect and just really trying semester. Really proud of her. The semester didn't necessarily go the way she wanted, but I'm really proud because she had to really overcome a lot of physical ailments and still perform in the semester. So, certainly looking forward to a much better one in the future. But I'm just really proud of what she was able to do and having her home, certainly for the Christmas holidays. And spiritually, again, I'm just very grateful. I just live in a state of thanksgiving all the time. I appreciate my highs, my lows, just the fact that I can get up and have my being. I'm just very grateful for. So, that all comes from having a good spiritual perspective, and that really helps to guide me in a lot of things that I do. So, just very appreciative of that. But other than that, certainly looking forward to this sort of part two show where we talk about martial arts. I just want to kind of do a sort of a summary and a recap of some of the things that we talked about. But before we get into that, just to kind of remind you guys that certainly any information that you want regarding the training, the show. Again, we want to have good content. I mean, we've talked quite a bit. We started this show back in, I believe, in May of this year, and we've done quite a number of shows, and we've got some good feedback from people regarding the show's content and how it could be very useful to people. But we want to start to hear from you guys. We want to start to create show content that's focused on people's questions and concerns. Can be based on information that we've already shared or any questions that come to mind. Just sort of have like an off the cuff, just based on myself and coach's experience. So we have an email, nextgentraining101 at gmail.com. You can send your questions there, and this is something that we really want to focus on for 2026. Where we can come in and have shows based on, ask the coaches, go into the mailbox, and just talk, off the rip, about what you guys are concerned about, because we can talk all day long, but certainly our value will be certainly when we start to hear from you guys, and we can have a better interaction. So drop us an email to that link and let us know how we can serve you, because that's what we're here for. And but with that, we talked about martial arts, and I'm just gonna kind of do a bit of it. So P, he was first of all, he was very gracious to step in last week to talk a couple weeks ago to talk about his background in martial arts, how he got started, how he moved to Greece for a while. He had stopped in the martial arts, but then came back and he became very proficient. Once he got grounded into it again, he did very well, trained in a lot of different disciplines and whatnot, and, really developed it over time. And, so we had a good conversation there. We also talked a lot about what goes into, the philosophy of martial arts, in terms of what his approach was to the discipline. Some people have more spiritual aspects of training that they focus on. Some is more like the physical aspect of it. And so we had an opportunity just to talk about those things. So we're going to do maybe just a quick recap on those, as well as to get in some subjects more in terms of your individual dojo. So I know you had opened up a studio for a while. You had a business
Correct.
going for a while. So I want to talk a little bit more about that. And either for those who might be interested in trying to start a dojo, how do you recruit, marketing, etc. I want to get into that tonight, but let's just do a quick recap on some of these things, and you can certainly like get your commentary on each one of these. So one of the things that we talk about again is considerations for choosing a martial arts style. And again, a lot of that's going to be based on your individual goals, obviously, but also try to understand what the philosophy is of the instructors, and that's why being able to ask the right questions about someone's martial art. If you're more so on the physical, like I said, you could be of the Cobra Kai mindset where you just strike first, strike first, strike fast, no mercy. Or is it more like a peaceful sort of spiritual, more grounding that you're trying to get? But these are things that you have to figure out for yourself what you want. But once you figure that out, then you'll have a guide to answering the right question, asking the right questions to these schools. So Pete, what's your general thoughts on the type of goals when it comes to how one should choose a martial art to begin with? And in martial arts, I would also consider, like boxing, I tend to consider, even though it doesn't have the Japanese or Chinese origins to it, but I kind of put that in a similar category.
This question can be answered in multiple ways.
Sure.
First, number one, when you're looking for a dojo or a style, you want to ask some simple questions like, hey, where did you get your degree from? Who's your instructor? Who's your instructor's instructor? Stuff like that. You want to see certification. Every school has their own what's called stamp. The stamp is certified. Like I have my stamp from Master Ray Kazaka. So I literally stamped my certification with his stamp. Then I signed it off Sensei Peter Loritz's. I never signed it Panayotli, which is because I can pronounce the first name, obviously. So that's how I sign my certifications. That's one. Two, you need to find out what kind of style you're into. What kind of style your kids are into. One thing, I'm gonna be very honest with everybody who's watching this and who's wants to get the kids in. It's two things you have to understand. Number one, kids are going to say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I want to go play video games. I want to go play football. Whatever they want to do, keep their asses in there. That is very, very, very important. Number one. All right. Second, as a owner, I want to be very blunt, and I'm going to pull the curtain back and teach you what's behind the curtain right now. what makes a school run and has operations every day, keeps the lights on, pays the bills, pays the uniform, pays the degrees you're earning, everything are the kids, believe it or not. The kids are the money makers. I would have averaged about 20 kids per class in, give or take, all right? Teens, about 15, 20, give or take, all right?
Hmm.
It depends on the teen class. Now, adults, I'm lucky to get maybe 5 or 10.
Mm.
So kids are looking for the next belt, a yellow belt, a orange belt, a green belt. But the adults are looking for their black belt. That's what they want. This is the golden gift you can give any adult our age. If you got into martial arts, Paul, you're not looking for your white belt, your yellow belt, your green belt, or whatever belt is next. Depends on the system. You're going after this. This is the ultimate goal. Knowing you, Paul, yeah, you can be a good sensei. I know you very well by now. So this is the ultimate goal. So kids are not looking at the black belt. Few kids. I mean, out of 100 in the school, and I'm rough bolt parking, of course.
Hmm.
Maybe one or two kids will say, "I want a black belt," and it looks
Right.
cool.
Right. Now, you even said in the last show, if I recall, you even said that your school, Master Ray's school, you guys didn't even give black belts to kids.
Correct. That is rare when you see a dojo give a black belt out.
Mhm.
Very rare. Now they do it more often. I'm not a fan of that technique, of the teaching style, technique style.
Mhm.
I'm really against that as a sensei. I don't think no kid under a certain age should have a black belt.
Right. So, what would that
Teens,
what's that general ballpark for you? And I know it can vary depending on the skill
that's what I was
level of
gonna.
the
It
kid, but
depends on the teen. I've seen some teens be able to get a black belt at between maybe very rare. I want to say like maybe a 1%, maybe 16
mhm.
rare. More 17, yeah, I can accept it. 18 and up, yeah, I will definitely. Most 18-year-olds won't get a black belt because they have to start their adult class now. They have to restart. But they're not going to start at white belt. I'm going to retest them to see where can I place them at a yellow belt, a purple belt, a green belt. I have kids who are good enough. I can put them in a brown belt. But that brown belt is going to be in a long, long, long time in that belt, a minimum of 3 to 4 years. But don't
Yeah,
forget, you have 3 degrees of brown belt, 1, 2, and 3. So you're going to be in that style for a very long time.
I got you. I got you. Um, so one of the other things to consider is, and we talked about this also again, formality.
Mhm.
Again, some schools might be looser, some are very based on tradition, from how you treat the dojo to just
Respect and everything.
etiquette wise and whatnot. So formality. So again, your goals will shape the level of your formality you want to follow. Take note that formality has heavy prominence in some types of martial arts. This is especially true for older styles where you must follow again specific etiquette and training, advancement, and the way you speak to those who have a higher rank than you. So again, some you just want to get a few guys in a backyard or a back of a building or whatever, and just have something informal. The clothing that you wear, whether or not some require you to have a gi or not, or some sort of equipment.
I'm out.
Yeah. So speak to that.
Okay, so number one, every proper school will have you wear some type of uniform. Gi is the most traditional one you have. I've seen some of the ones have where you wear the gi pants, but you wear school t-shirts. That's acceptable for most schools.
Mhm.
But most of them are wearing gi, the top and the bottom, gi pants, gi shirt. It depends on the student. Depends what grade. A meaning is you have a heavy grade, a lightweight, a middle, light, and heavy, and then you have the Iron Man gi. The Iron Man gi is insane. I love
Mhm.
that. Was my favorite gi. That's one I have. It's so the lightweight is literally lightweight. The middleweight is about 3 to 4 ounces. It's not that heavy. The heavyweight is about 10 ounces. The Ironman is 12 to 15 ounces. I can't remember which one it is. It doesn't sound a lot, but when you put it on, it feels like a carpet. So
Yeah.
when you're moving, it makes it a lot harder to actually get into the strikes and everything.
Mhm.
But I do want to answer one little in the chat. My man, this is not a pre-recording. This is live right now.
Yeah,
So
I kinda nixed him, so he can
yeah, I
go.
just want
I
to put
mean,
that out there right now.
yeah.
If you can be respectful to the chat,
Yeah,
you're
you
going
guys
to
to
be
go.
fine.
So
Yeah.
we don't, like I said, on this show, I mean, there's other shows we can have that kind of, content or whatever, but we're trying to, certainly be of use. So if you're not going to be used to it, or anybody who's like that, then you don't need to be here. So, you can go somewhere with that. But
Yeah,
go ahead, Pete.
go kick rocks. I don't care. So anyway, back to the original topic. Yeah, it really depends on the style. It's really hard to say the answer. I don't have a straight answer to that because it really depends on style. Most styles that I know of, all of them wear some type of kind of uniform. The
Right.
dress uniform is GI. Simple
Mhm.
as how it spells. Not no big specials or in that sense in English is uniform.
Mhm.
Most of them you are required to wear white uniform.
Right. Right.
Instructors usually wear black. Once you get a sensei level, you can mix and match your uniforms. And that's
Right.
the cool part. So you can wear white pants with black on top,
Mhm.
or red with stripes on it. Whatever you want. You don't
Mhm.
have a traditional uniform as a sensei. You have free reign to wear
Mhm.
wherever you want afterward.
Yeah. But talk about the formality, like I said here, like it's beyond. It's not just the uniform or whatnot, but again, but a code of conduct, how you carry yourself, how you address older instructors, and how you address the sense. Like I've seen schools where it's just very formal, Mister So and so. They don't insist on this, and then there's levels. There's sensei, senpai, depending on your level and whatnot. So just
Okay, so that's an
how
easy
you
question.
approach the mat, how do you leave,
So
so talk about that. And for some their kids, that some parents or someone may like appreciate that kind of environment because it also ties back to some traditional, again, the older martial arts. It may help a person feel more connected to the history and that
mhm.
lineage of the martial art rather than just the practicality of just fighting. Some people want, especially, and I would think even an adult can appreciate some of that formality and culture that comes with the martial arts. So talk about that aspect when it comes to selecting a discipline or school.
Okay, so let's start with how you entered the dojo originally. Most of them are pretty similar. I can't speak for other styles. I can speak what I know only. Let's keep that in mind. Once you enter, okay, you enter the dojo, you enter the building. All right.
Hmm.
Then you always put your shoes in the cubby. Then you head to the floor
Hmm.
because the locker rooms are on the floor in the dojo area. So how we always did it, we always bowed to the mat, the respect to the mat, respect where it came from, respect what it is about to learn, and respect who is the instructor for that.
Right.
The higher instructors like myself, Master Ray, Master Marie, and Grandmaster Shin. The reason I doing that, I make it understanding what the level is. We took it to the next level after we bow. Before we enter, we wipe our feet. The reason we wipe our feet, we don't want to bring, and even we just wear our socks. Our socks are clean. You do that is to out of respect for the next person who is going to train too. You don't want to bring any dirt in it.
Hmm.
A lot of wrestlers, WWE, if you see them before they enter the mat, they always wipe their feet, let they
Hmm.
kick it, bang, back and forth.
Hmm.
Then you go into the locker room, you change into your uniform, you come back out. Once you step on the floor on the mat, it doesn't matter who you are as an instructor.
Hmm.
This is mostly for senseis, not under not volunteer instructors, senseis only. The kids are going to scream yame. Yame means stop. They're going to
Hmm.
look at you and goes,
Hmm.
Sensei Peter Ray means bow to the sensei.
Hmm.
Show your respect, you bow back, and then you
Hmm.
continue. They go back to the
Hmm.
class. You come out, and then you might join that. You ask the instructor who's been running and say, Master Ray, hey master, where are you guys at? Where can I help? Then he'll tell you, can you go help those guys out there, or just hang out for a minute and we're almost wrapping out, whatever the case is. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Now, how would we? Each instructor are addressed differently. From first degree up to fourth degree, you're addressed it as one way, sensei. That's it.
Hmm.
Now, let's say we have multiple senseis. That's when you're allowed to use their name after sensei.
Right.
For example, Sensei Peter, Sensei Paul, Sensei Ray, Sensei Maria, and so on.
You
All
don't
right.
use last names?
No, we never
Mm.
use last names.
Mm.
Now, the question is, how many times did you have somebody with two different senseis with the same name? I never had that problem
Mhm.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's always one person stuff. So now after from fifth to ninth is a Shihan or master.
Hmm.
So we had an instructor. Sh- I believe his name was Hunt. Yes, Shihan Hunter. We called him Shihan. That's it. So and we just addressed him as Shihan. But if it was more than one Shihan, we're just like, hey, Sensei Shihan a Hunter or Shihan Peter or Shihan Paul and so on. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. It depends on the instructor how he want to be addressed. Now, ninth and 10th, here's where it gets a little tricky. Some of them were asked you to be, he won't be addressed as professor because they're technically a professor in that style.
Hmm.
Master Ray didn't like that too much. He preferred master or grandmaster. He didn't like grandmaster. It sounds too old for him, he said. He goes, listen, I'm getting old. Don't call me grandmaster because now I feel like I'm going in a nursing home. Just call me master.
Yeah.
And I looked at him one day when I was younger, like, but doesn't that technically de-rank you a little bit? He goes, nobody asked you get technicality here. He goes to me. I'm like, if I like being called master, you can call me master.
Mhm.
All right, cool, whatever. So it really depends on the instructor and style. So in Saijutsu and Netjutsu, that's how it was. Sensei from first degree to fourth degree, from fifth to eighth, it was Shihan. From ninth and 10th, it was professor or master or grandmaster.
Mhm.
But technically, from 5 to 10th, you're a master already.
Gotcha.
Once you I want to point one thing out. It depends on the style. You cannot ever rank above you because you cannot teach something you don't know.
Correct.
You can
Yeah.
some styles can only my style wasn't like that. You can always rank equally some of them. Say Okinawa Shonen was one of them. You can train somebody to your equal, and that's it. I never liked that too much. Beyond Vijitsu is one of those styles. It says you can rank somebody to your equal. Now, in my style, you can only rank somebody underneath you. The highest, for example, is 10th, and Ray was 9th. He can only rank me to up to 8th degree, not 10th. The trick about Saijutsu and Netjutsu, this is a little where I found very interesting and fascinating at the same time. For him to become 10th degree, he had to wait till his father passed away, and he unfortunately he has passed. And it was the most emotional black belt ceremony I ever seen in my life because he knew his father has passed. He knew he had to take the range, and he knew he had to fill big shoes. He couldn't.
Right.
Some styles will rank you up to 10th, even though the grandmaster has not passed. Some of them say, "Listen, I'm done teaching martial arts. I just want to step down. You can take over school." So they promote him to 10th degree. It gets a little complicated if that makes sense.
Yeah. For sure. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Next here is again physical demands. So
Mhm.
again, as you investigate to diverse different approaches of the different kinds of martial arts, you should contemplate your physical strength and limitations. You may also feel inclined to use certain parts of your body over others. So again, boxing, which like I said, to a large extent, I think it's a martial art, prioritizes ours, whereas kicks dominate in Taekwondo. Um, how would you then assess or would you give any guidance to a parent in terms of how to assess their kid in terms of what they should go into? Do you think maybe another way of putting this is, do you think certain kids just based on their body shape or structure, do you think they may do better in certain disciplines than others? If you're a sort of a pudgy heavier kid, maybe like a judo or something like that might be better than like a taekwondo. If your kid is naturally flexible, maybe taekwondo might be a better way to go there. So just in terms of, like I said, there's so much out there and you don't know necessarily where your kid wants to go, but just as a start, do you think there's things that as a parent you can look at and say, hey, you know what, I think you might be good in this particular type of discipline or not, just based on, or how would you advise a parent to
So
when it comes
that
to
is a yes no
that?
answer. I'll tell you why yes no. No, because my style is a mixed martial art. So we did a little judo, we did a little boxing, we did a little kung fu, we did gun fu, we did karate, we did Wing Chun, we did Kung Chun, and so we did a little bit of everything. All right. So there are kids that are they will be better at, let's say, grappling techniques or judo techniques or kicking techniques, and then we're going to focus eh, you got to find your style of fighting. End of the day.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, if you go to a school that is focused on one, like karate or kung fu or gun fu or judo, now you're talking about a whole different thing. That's where
Mhm.
you have to check.
Mhm.
Check. My kid is good, but he's not that good at this. Am I wasting my money? So I try him a different
Yeah,
style.
you gotta, yeah. I mean, like I said, if your kid is not naturally flexible, or like I said, certain styles are much more physical that rely more on quickness, some are more on power. Again, just how would you help a parent saying like, I'm trying to go into this? I mean, and maybe you may even know the kids and say, hey, I think this might be a good place for them to start. And again, they can always adopt another type of form of martial art later. Because again, I agree that it's good when you study a variety of different styles. But just to get someone's foot wet does being able to properly assess a child, let's say the child's 8 years old or 10 or 12, is that a worthwhile thing to say, hey, you know what, just to kind of ease them into it, I think this goes, this they may get a little bit more out of than another type of martial art.
So I'm gonna use me as an example. All right.
Hmm.
If you remember last episode, I spoke about how I got my black belt, and part of my black belt test is me going out to another school and learning a different style
Right.
for a few months, and that gave me a different perspective. I can't pronounce the word. Of view.
Perspective. Yeah.
Thank you. Of a view into the martial art world. Not one style is made equally, but every style is not good for each technique.
That's right.
Let's say you come in with a punch to the face. I know 10 different ways to do it already. Now I know 20 different ways. That's one thing Bruce Lee was huge about, learning different ways to block.
Well, he was
Right?
also big on, even in Jeet Kune Do, you're gonna have a different. If you got a guy, I mean, Bruce Lee was 5'7". Remember the scene from Game of Death? He fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 7'2", right?
Mhm.
He said just based on the physicality of the individual, you're gonna have a different fighting style. If you're tall, if you have a long reach, maybe fighting at distance might be better than fighting on the inside where you're shorter, or maybe attacking low or attacking high. So again, it's about understanding a lot of times what physical characteristic a person has could be a good indicator in terms of what they're, even within an art, because you're going to learn a ton of different hand strikes and whatnot, and some people, just the way they're physically built, they may favor a particular punch or something because it just works for them better. You know,
I
W- you
use
know
me example. Like like after I hurt my knee, kicking wasn't my strong point anymore.
right.
It was cool, but it wasn't. Even spin kicks, they look cool, but you're too much in the air, and I didn't like. If somebody hits you, you're going into the ground.
Yeah.
Now I got into more hip throws were my thing, more wrist locks. So if
Mhm.
you came and grab my hand, I can go in a korgaish really fast, or a finger peel, or the walking chicken. That's the English term,
Mhm.
or sport chicken. And it was so many different techniques I can go into.
Mhm.
Then the pressure points are more. It made more sense to me. Why am I going trying to hit full
Mhm.
force? Like,
Mhm.
but I can take one finger, put it in your Adam apple, and push down, and then you're choking out.
Mhm.
Simple.
Yeah.
Or going for the cardiac arteries, and I just grab and pinch them. Or my favorite one, monkey pinch. Like I don't care how big you are, everybody goes down to monkey pinch.
Mhm.
Literally, you little 3 fingers, pinch under the armpits. Oh man, just grab and twist those. You're gonna jump like a freaking chicken out of water. I don't
Mhm.
care who you are.
Mhm.
And next time I'm gonna see you, Paul, I'm gonna demonstrate that for you. Around your wife too.
Mhm. Mhm.
But there are so many different techniques. Like pressure points are my favorite now. Like I don't go for the hail makers. And like people go for the hail makers. Like why? It takes you like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 versus 1, 2. It makes sense. Small punches do less damage, but they do more over time.
Right.
When you throw one, I can do 6. I prefer
Right.
6
Right.
versus 1.
Right.
I
Well, like I
respect.
said, it's just like in boxing, right? I mean, you have Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, right? I mean, they're physically different. I mean, Ali used his jab, he danced, he moved. Tyson was again
Hail
get
maker.
inside. His punches weren't long range; they were like hooks,
Mhm.
uppercuts. The footwork to get inside and then do your damage there. He wasn't effective from the outside. He had to kind of get inside your range. Once he got in, he got you. So again, it's like anything else. Everyone's going to have, even within a certain discipline, everyone could possibly have a different approach to it. The question is then going to be is does that discipline support people having their own sort of individuality, or are you trying to make like a cookie cutter, like everybody has to be able to do the exact same things through the martial art? I mean, that's something I know Bruce was really big on, was just recognizing that your physicality matters when it comes to how you approach especially once you start to specialize and really find your martial art, find your individual Jeet Kune Do. That is something that has to be considered in that pursuit.
And I agree 100% because everybody has their own type of style of fighting. You have to find yours.
Gotcha.
And I
Gotcha.
found mine over the years.
Right.
And it keeps evolving every time I, trained. It went
Yeah.
from point A to point B to point C.
Right. Right. Another point we have here, again, this probably gets more into style again. Again, hitting or submitting. Again, what level of contact are you going to be comfortable with? So striking leaves you a lot of bumps and bruises and damage. Grappling, you might be stuck in tight spaces and whatnot. So again, this also can go into the style that you choose. But then again, what kind of, and again, as a parent, do I want my kid in a type of style that emphasizes hitting or strikes, or do I want something that's more grappling, more wrestling based, to basically to get a guy on the ground and submit them versus physicality. So this also gets into that selection process again. And again, I'm not saying that certain martial arts infuse both striking and grappling, submitting into both. But again, those are things that, like, as a parent, it's like, do I want my kid come home with a black eye every night from training, or from a sore arm because he was in an arm lock only? So you gotta kind of have to pick your poison. But again, I know some parents are going to be kind of sensitive to what they want, the type of physical demands that they want their kids to be exposed to. So, do you have any thoughts
Yeah, I do
on this
actually.
one? Yeah,
So I don't care what style you do. You're gonna get bruises. You're gonna get bumps. You're gonna get black and blues, and it's gonna happen. I don't care if it's boxing. I don't care if it's judo. I
for
don't care if it's
sure.
tai chi. It's going to fucking hurt at some points. I had 2 kids sparring, brothers actually, and the one kid got hit a little too hard in the solar plex,
Hmm.
and he went down like a ton of bricks, and he was crying.
Hmm.
And his mom looked at me and go like, "Your other son hit him in the solar plex. Hey, this stuff happened." He goes, "Yeah, I know. You cool with it?" It's like, "Yeah. That's why I put him here. I want you to toughen him up. I don't want to be bitches." I'm like, "Cool." I had another parent. He looked at me and goes, "You doing sparring?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Can I join?" "What do you mean
Hmm.
join? You're a grown ass woman." Like, "I want to spar my son." I'm like,
Hmm.
"Under one condition, you're not gonna hold back." "Oh man, she fucking wowed him." I'm like,
Hmm.
I saw him when she roundhouse kicked him. He went down. I'm like, "Not bad, mom." Like, but again, that's the part of martial arts too. You have to know how to take a punch sometimes too.
Yeah. Question for you: how would you advise? Again, I'm a lot of tonight is I'm going to sound like a broken record, but from a parental standpoint, how do you deal with a kid who may, again, you may have a bad night, you may get that punch, you come crying, you're coming home saying, "I don't wanna do this anymore," or whatever. How do you get a kid who may have be intimidated or had a bad day, how do you stop them from quitting? How do you, get them to come back? Or is that something that they either have it or they don't? Like, some people say you either have a warrior spirit or you don't. Or the students that you look for, the ones, yeah, you're gonna get punched in the mouth or whatever, but guess what? You're coming back the next day, and you're coming back the next week. Character. And some people don't want, again, depending on the philosophy of the school. If you're gonna cry because you got hit hard that day or whatever, if you're gonna cry about it, then don't come back. Again, some people you know, hardcore old school like that as well. So what's your approach to that, as well as, what would you tell a parent if a kid, has a bad day at school, got bruised ribs or whatever? What do how would you coach them through that? Any advice you would give as an instructor? What should the parents say to their kids as far as, um, you know, how to keep them involved, how to keep them engaged, how to prevent them from quitting?
I usually tell the parents, don't ever take them out. Doesn't matter how much cooking and screaming they do, but when they get in their dojo and they see their friends are having fun and they're not, because they sit in the corner waiting. And I tell them all the time, you're not going to play if you're not going to join, because we always have a little playtime towards the end. I'll let them sit there through the whole playtime too.
Mhm.
The next time coming around, like, Sensei, can I do class today? Are you ready to work? Yes, Sensei. Let's work. And I always go, and when they hit, I usually go to them immediately, and I used to try to make it a little funny for them. Like if they get hit in the shoulder, let's say left shoulder for argument's sakes, right?
Mhm.
I know it looks opposite in camera, but left shoulder for me.
I got
right?
you. I got you.
Yeah. I go, okay. I pretend I punch him in the right shoulder. Does that hurt? Because and so I'm like, no, Sensei. And they forget about it immediately.
Mhm.
It's a part of the sport, like football. You're going to get hit, not if,
Right.
it's when. And I tell them,
Yeah,
keep them at
and
it.
just like in that sport too. I mean, some kids want to quit. You get in that drill, you get drilled. I mean, like you get the wind knocked out of you and whatnot, and you're there and you're balled up and whatnot. Um, you can quit,
I
but
put it this way, bro.
will you get up and go back? Or if that's my son, Blaine, I'm like, look, yeah, you took a hit, get back in there. At least that's going to be my mindset. But again,
And I agree 100%.
yeah.
For over the years I was doing this, I had less kids quit on me than more kids weren't coming back.
Mhm.
I'll put it this way: I can literally count in my head. I had 20 kids over the years quit on me. That's it, 20.
Mhm.
The a couple hundred who said they're gonna quit, and I looked at them like, "You'll be back in 2 weeks." Most times I was right. Most times I was wrong, because they back in less than 2 weeks, saying the parents like, yeah, the kid wants to do it again. I'm like,
Mhm.
like, can I resume? Do I need a new contract? And I'm like, I worked out the details, obviously. I made it pretty cool with them.
Right.
But them quitting is rare. Believe me, it's more rare than you think. You got more chance to quit in football, basketball, baseball, any of those major sports versus martial arts.
Right, right. And also, I want to say, I know there's some schools that it's not about hitting or submitting. A lot, again, you talked about the forms
Mhm.
and the katas. Now, again, I know they were a big part of your schools. Again, some people aren't into Bruce Lee. He wasn't really big into katas, at least not later on in
That's
his
one thing I
martial arts
disagree with
journey.
always.
What's that?
I always disagree that, because for katas teach you fighting styles.
I got you. But I'm just saying, but
No, I
some,
know.
like some, it's almost like you learn. It's still like a discipline, right? Like you
It
can
is.
have a kid who, and sometimes they get. I mean, you get black belts and you get promotions based on your forms or whatnot. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're good at fighting, right? Like I said,
Right.
there's a lot of McDojos, and there's a lot of, and I've shared some videos in a common martial arts group that we frequent. Just because you are martial arts doesn't mean you know how to fight.
I
And
agree
you
on
can go
that.
through the forms and everything is perfect or whatnot, but when you're in the street, when you got to really defend yourself, are you going to have that mindset to defend yourself? But katas can almost be like a dance, a routine, if you don't incorporate that kind of that physicality to it as well. So, but for some, I've seen some schools where it's like you could do beautiful work. throw beautiful spinning kicks and jumping kicks in the air and whatnot. But it's just a choreographed dance. But
I'll
can
give
you?
you a
Yeah,
great example on that.
yeah.
At the Tamuanka PA tournament, I can remember what the tournament official's name was. All right, the first year they did a musical kata. These two kids did bow staff with Devil Came to Georgia, Georgia, something like that. Whatever, you know
Mhm.
what song I'm talking about. Great, round of applause. They got first place.
Yeah,
All right, and this is from when you can do music katas at that level. And there is no kids, adults, teens. They're all in one group. You get the best of the adults, the best of the teens, and best of the kids, and then compete for one championship. Okay,
right.
all right, great. Go one applause. Kudos. They came and shook everybody. Elder instructors had cool kids. They're out. I want to say that maybe I'm pushing it. Maybe 12 years old. I want to say they were all right.
Mhm.
Then next year they did the exact same kata. I know half the instructors, senseis I spoke to, the judges, some of them didn't score them the same, score them less. But because the majority vote was higher, and I looked at them, why did you score them the same as last year? That makes no sense. The crowd went wild.
Mhm.
Simple as that.
Yeah,
Politics now comes in and play.
yeah, yeah.
And that's one thing about katas teach you a lot: footwork, punching, techniques, and that. Can it teach you how to fight? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
What's going to teach you a punch? Getting hit. Getting
Exactly.
hit, getting hit, getting hit, getting hit, getting hit, getting hit. Eventually,
Right.
you're gonna say, well, "Doing this is not. It doesn't feel good. I need to change up my technique."
Right.
Well, you played video games once before, right?
Sure.
On time. You know when you're playing a level and you're trying to do the same thing over and over and over, and you keep dying in the same spot, and like, right,
Exactly. Yep.
it's getting annoying.
And
But
it is weird, and it happens at every level. Like there's certain levels I would get through, but there's just one level that I'm usually used to beating, and for some reason I can't get by it that day. It's like the
you
weirdest
see
thing.
now, you see where I'm going with this. Now you
Yeah.
change your technique. You said going left, you went right. Oh, that's what's a trick. Same thing, except being fist hard, then you loosen your grip a little bit and it snaps back and it
Mhm.
snaps back. It's like, this works better than being hard brick.
Mhm.
Then you
Mhm.
all of a sudden the block went into a punch. You're like,
Mhm.
oh, 2 and 1. Then 1, 2, 3. Then I went
Mhm.
for an eye gouge or a nose
Mhm.
peel.
Mhm.
Oh, I just learned how to defend myself against getting punched in the fucking face.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
And
a
a lot of this, again, it boils down also to goals. Because again, some they may not want the physicality, but they like the art or the discipline or the hours of practice that go into learning katas and whatnot. And again, it's just an activity that their kids can, perform in without the violence. Again, a lot of it's going to depend on philosophy of the parent. What they
absolutely.
want. But if you want a practical form of martial arts or whatever, if you want your kids to be able to defend themselves, yes, like you said, you're gonna have to go through some hitting and punt, or submissions, or learn some locks or something. I mean, you're gonna have to. There's no getting around that. But I know some parents they're very happy with their kids getting first place in forms. They can go home and like
It's
hang the
funny you said
medal or
this.
the trophy and whatnot, and they're happy with that.
I had a kid and it was in a tournament, and I wasn't a head instructor at this dojo. I just helped out. All right, and the kid and his Asian family, by the way. The parent is screaming, "Come on, you can do this, you got this!" But like, and she was like putting a lot of pressure on this kid.
Mhm.
Stopped in the middle of the tournament, turned around, and looked at her mother and says, "I am doing the best I can. Get off my back." I look like, oh shit, Asian
Mhm.
parents. Ooh, no, 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 no.
Mhm.
I looked at the instructor like, "You guys can explain it to you later, buddy." He goes, "No, I think she did the right call. I knew it was the right call. He knew it was the right call, but the parent did it." The
Mhm.
parent flipped the fuck up on him the next day. He's saying,
Mhm.
"Yo, why are you teaching my kid?" Blah, blah, blah. Listen, calm down. They got in an argument. Says, "Get the hell out of the dojo." A few months later, I see her again. Let's say she was teaching. She wanted to come to my dojo then because
Mhm.
I had my own dojo.
Mhm.
She was a good student.
Gotcha.
Also, as an instructor, we have to understand parents will flip out. You have to find a way to calm them down and speak to them. Like you have a cool head on your shoulders, Paul.
Mhm.
let's say I'm not saying your wife. I'm going to use her as my exhibit. She might not be. She
Right.
might be like, oh, my daughters can do better than this. Why don't you have them in a black belt? I'm like, because I don't put kids in black belts.
Right.
What do I even do? This is how the style is.
That's
I
right.
have parents like that.
That's right.
And the
Yeah.
kids looked at the parents like, well, Dad, this is a different style. I'm learning something different. I'm not going to be a black belt or yellow belt or green belt. I got to start over again. And the next day, the parent come up and apologize to me. He goes, listen, I was wrong. You were right. I know because I've been doing this. Let the professionals do what they're good at.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. Got a couple more points here, and then we'll get into in terms of um, building a dojo or just the business of that. Again, practicality. Again, this is big. Again, lastly, you should think about what is realistic for you. Perhaps having a certain style at the top of your list, but there are no schools for in your area or workplace. So again, you might find that be watching YouTube on the stuff. It's like, hey, that'd be great, but then again, where's the school? Where's the instruction?
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to take what you can have access to, what's going to be convenient, what your parents can get you to, or what's convenient to get you. I mean, you even have problems now. Trying to get to martial arts school. If you want to take lessons, you got to go quite a distance if you want to get back into your old martial arts school. So again, there's logistical situation things to consider also that just like going to a gym. We did shows in the past on how to choose a gym. Locale matters. If you got to drive some guys are all hardcore. They'll drive 2 hours to get to Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym in Long Island because that's one of those hardcore bodybuilding gyms. Some people make that trip every day. For most people, it's not realistic. So you also got to look at what's available in your area, and again, start something before you say, oh well, because the school isn't offering the style that I want to get into or whatever, I'm not going to do anything. So again, just keep that in mind. Also, logistics matters, proximity also matters, and again, just because you start there, that doesn't mean you have to totally finish there. If opportunities open up for you to learn from other people, then so be that. But your
So
thoughts on this here?
I get this question asked all the time from friends of mine who are parents. How do you pick? Oh, man, the best dojo in the area is about 100 miles from my house. Why is it best dojo in the area?
Yeah.
Oh, it teaches you gun fu, or it teaches you ninjutsu, or it teaches you karate Okinawa versus Okinawa Shonroom. And go, really? You have like 20 dojos in less than 5 miles from your house, right? But they're not the same style. So what? So
Yeah.
what? Learning different styles is the best part. Eventually, later on, you might move, or he might open a school closer to you, or a second location. Don't be knocked on that one style. There's so many different styles.
That's right.
Learn a little bit of everything.
Definitely.
That's
Definitely.
it. It's like putting a puzzle together. So I go out and I show him like, so what do you think now? He goes, you were right, and they like it afterwards.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. No doubt. Couple more here before we wrap up. This last one here, again, finding the right dojo. So we'll talk about expertise in teaching style, class environment, location and schedule, facilities. All right, so this is where I kind of want to turn it over to you in terms of if you want to talk about personally, how'd you go about setting up your classes and whatnot, scheduling and whatnot. So more of the logistics of how if you want to promote or have a martial arts school. Certainly how to go about doing that. Also fees and rates. What did you charge? And, is it different for adults versus kids versus packages or whatnot? So just goes and talk about the business of what it takes to operate a martial arts school from your perspective, from your experience with one. And then for people who might be contemplating that because you may know martial arts, but again, there's a business side that also has to be tended to. A lot of people are good in it just because you have a skill doesn't necessarily mean you have the business acumen to go into business. That's a totally different animal,
It
and you
is.
got to make
It
sure
is.
things are in order. So talk about that from the perspective of first of all, when did you open your school? What went into it, and how'd you go about building it? And just talk about
That was early 2010, I believe, was it?
okay,
I may be wrong on the date. So how I learned how to run a dojo, it was through my instructor, Master Ray Kazaka. So because I was so close friends with his son, he later on, as we're talking, like most art instructors, became instructors at other locations. So he came up with the idea. Part of your requirement to become I think it was fifth degree black belt, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm.
is to learn what it takes to run a school. I look at him like, what happens if he doesn't want to open a school? Let's say he has, like yourself, you're a full-time IT guy and he's making insane money or good enough money. He's happy what he's doing. He does not want to do this part-time.
Right.
It goes like, he doesn't have to do it then. That's fine. Let me know. We'll sign off the paper and call it a day because he have to have everything paperwork out to cover his own butt end of the day. So he told me everything. How to order uniforms, where to order uniforms, what equipment you should use, what equipment not to use, or what equipment you could use but might not use. It depends on your style or your style of teaching, I should say. It really depends.
Mm.
So when I opened my school, I was very limited on what I could use, what I couldn't use, because I shared the space with the aerobic class person. So I needed what's called snap down mats versus Master Ray had plywood mats on the
Mhm.
floor,
Mhm.
meaning they're plywood pretty much.
Right.
They didn't. There were a reason why we use those versus the fold down mats because he said eventually when you doing a judo match and you're falling on plywood of wood, it's gonna hurt. So you're gonna avoid falling. But when we're practicing, of course, the heavy duty judo mats come out. So at the time, they were going for a per foot about $80 a foot.
Wow.
Those suckers are expensive. You think
Wow.
gym floors are expensive? Try judo floors mats.
So when you went in, did you have like a budget? Did you have a savings? Did you get a loan? What went into, okay, you're gonna open up the school, start like, financially, because you got to make this capital investment, okay, for equipment, for mats, for whatnot. How'd you finance that?
So back then was a little different than it is now. Back then, once you open an account with Sensei martial arts supplier, they would give you credit. It's like a credit card almost.
Mhm.
They tell you this how much you have to spend. You can use it now, pay later, whatever. So I ordered through that. A lot of my equipment was hand-me-downs. We're living out through Master Ray.
Yeah.
The mats, they're all hand-me-downs. Nothing wrong. He got stores for them because he upgraded his and he just hang on to it when he opened another school, he passed down. So when I called Shin about it, I go, hey, can I borrow a couple of mats? He goes, why do you need to borrow a couple mats? And like, the dojo I was opening? I'm like, yeah, I need mats. He goes, I'll bring them up to you because my truck will fit them. Like, how much? I told him, it's like, holy shit, you need a lot. And he goes, so he brought me whatever he could. He brought me mats. He brought me punching bags, the handbags, whatever he could. That's how I got most of my equipment, believe it or not. Weapons, I had a lot of weapons. So over the years of training, so I didn't need to buy what's called class weapons. So if, for example, you need to learn nunchucks, you don't have a pair. Here's a pair now. Sticks, all that stuff. I had all leftover stuff. So stuff I didn't use or I was thinking about throwing away, those got donated to the dojo. So I had that part.
Right.
Now, the uniforms, I only bought what I needed at a time. So if you were joining my class, I told them, after you join, I order it then. End of the month, I order a big order.
Right.
Because I'm not going to order ahead of time and have dead inventory. I always
Sure.
count.
Makes sense.
And he agreed with me with my type of school. Cool. So I ordered as I need. So for my rates at the time, again, we're talking years ago, was
Sure.
65 a month. The first your first test, the white belt test, is on the house. It's including your joining package, and your first uniform is free, the lightweight one.
Right.
So it was
Now, is that 65 a month? Is that based on you starting a school, and that was just like a good introductory
area.
rate?
I went off the area.
You went off the area, so other martial arts schools and what they were charging in the area. So you did some market research
65 and
to
75.
determine.
Because I remember at the time, and then look, go backtrack if you guys didn't watch the last episode, I broke ties with another instructor I was working with. He was charging 75, but he had a bigger location, and he was doing it for a while now because the dojo was passed down from one instructor to the next instructor. So, and another people I spoke to, most of them were 65, 75, around that area. It's rare when I spoke to people who were like, oh, I charge 120. I'm like, how the fuck are you getting kids? And most times there were kids that were in more like the higher end areas that
Right. And you didn't have a different structure for, so again, since you talk about kids as a major part of your business,
Mhm.
was that in mind?
Of course.
Would you charge a different price for an adult,
No.
or would they have different? Okay, so across the
So
board, but
here's what
you're eight or
my trick in the ace, and most people don't have this. So my dojo was inside a gym. You're a gym guy, Paul, right?
Mhm,
You have 3 kids. So your wife is say busy at work and your time to watch kids, but you really want to work out. But you realize if I drop them off at karate, is in the same location, I
mhm,
can go work out for an hour.
mhm.
That usually takes you an hour, right?
Very practical. Yeah.
So if you're done a little early, I'm still gonna watch the kids. Obviously, I'm not
Mhm,
gonna say, "Hey, shoot, shoot, shoot." No, I'm
mhm,
gonna sit on the couch, be quiet. If you
mhm,
act up, I'm going to put the sensei law on you.
mhm.
People, love that about me. Second way I promoted myself is no flyers, no advertisements, word of mouth. I tell them
Yeah.
you get 5 of your friends sign up, you get 1 free month. You get 10 of your friends, you get 2 months free,
Mhm.
and so on and so on.
So you didn't go in the neighborhood putting
Nope,
advertisements in
absolutely
the
not.
windows or whatever, and saying, "Hey, Master Peter's martial arts school or whatever." What
Nope.
was the name of your school anyway? Did you have a name?
It was because I owned it with a partner of mine. He had owned Mount Pocono Fitness, so we named it very simple for tax reasons. Mount Pocono Fitness Karate because it was same location and kind of
Okay.
helped drive both businesses.
Right. Right.
And most people love joining that.
Mhm.
The only thing I didn't do and some schools did, oh, if you pay up front for a whole year, you get this off. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Then
Right.
makes no sense to me to do that.
And you didn't go to like Chamber of Commerce or any kind of events that you have like a booth
No,
maybe set up at something. I mean, those are
some people
all.
did.
I mean,
I didn't.
those are all means. And I'm not saying that I know in your case you didn't do that, but that's certainly something to consider. If there are community events where you can set up a booth or have a table, or even in the gym itself. I've known people who've done, different campaigns or whatnot. They may have a little booth, say, hey, there's also a martial arts school here, whatnot. Hey, here's a
The
flyer, here,
business I
sign up
only
or
did
whatever.
was I did a little business, small business, and it was like, oh, it was a small business. Come down and do, a little table and promote your business. It was a local event.
Yeah.
And the funny part was, my old instructor I was working with tried to convince my partner to kick me out. Him getting into the business. He looked, I'm like, why would I do that? You're down the
Mhm.
street. You're my competition.
Right.
Simple. The only other thing I did once a month is to help the parents out a little bit was you're gonna like this actually too. Like if you want to go out on a date night and get a little jiggy with a wife, you don't have time with the kids, obviously, with that
Mhm.
young pizza night and
Mhm.
bring a friend.
Mhm.
And people go like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean bring?" I'm like, "Bring a friend." Simple, simple. You pay for the pizza night. I'll take care of the pizza. I'll take care of the games. I have them for about an hour to hour and a half, maybe 2 hours tops.
Mhm.
Okay. So what did I do? $25. That's all it takes.
Mhm.
Brought it, dropped them off. We're playing. We had a pizza. We watch a movie, and then come back and
Mhm.
it's not very simple.
Right. Right.
And people love that. Another way I promoted myself: t-shirts. What's one thing you're always gonna wear is t-shirts and hoodies, right?
Right.
I had the name of the school in the front and the number in the back.
You still have a couple jerseys?
I don't actually because over wear and tear over the time, they just got destroyed over the years.
Mhm.
I used to wear them all the time and just have. I can see you can see holes in them and stuff I had to retire them unfortunately.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Hey, definitely should have saved one just for collector's item. Or did you have like a banner, like a logo or something that you hung up or whatever? Do you have any
I have it on
marketing?
my arm. I'm still wearing it on my arm to this day. That was my
Wow.
so,
Wow. Nice. Nice. So
eventually that school is gonna reopen one day. I know mine. I know me.
right. Right.
One day I'm gonna get to the point like I need to reopen this school.
Right.
I one day I didn't even know. I told you this. I want to get back into martial arts. It's time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once I
Sure.
figure that part out, You know me, Paul. I'm gonna be into it all the time.
Right, right. So you started out. You said so. This is like early 2010s
Yeah, something
that
like
you
that.
opened up the school.
Yeah.
At your height, how many students did you have at going out, or how many classes did you have? Because I'm sure you had different age groups and whatnot. So
Okay,
when it was really
so
cooking.
I kids were first, teens were second, and adults were last always.
Hmm.
Adults I didn't do as much because a lot of them worked, obviously.
Hmm. Yeah.
So Monday, Tuesday, I did. Wednesday was off. Thursday, Friday off. Saturday and Sunday. I was the only school who did Sunday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Mm.
Sunday was later than earlier. So how my Monday class usually start between about 4:30, 5 o'clock. I can't remember the schedule off my head, to be honest with you guys.
Mm.
Then hour after that will be teens, and an hour after that was to be adults. I did private classes in the meantime too. So it depends on the day. So some days will be kata days, and I wrote a whole calendar out. Some days will be katas, some days would be technique, some days would be form days, some days will be, whatever I feel like. A free day, I called it, because I don't know what I'm gonna teach at that. I'm gonna figure it out when that time comes.
Mhm.
It really depends. Um,
Gotcha.
on the Sunday, so Saturday was an early day. So I used to do Saturday about what time was it? About 1 o'clock ish. I used to do it. Then I would do Sunday around 3 o'clock. I would do it because I did it early, but nobody showed up because of church. Most
Right.
of church.
Yeah.
So when I did it later, they liked it, and then I stuck to it. I was the only school in the year that did those many days. And
Right.
it worked for me.
And you had when the times you were open, you had like multiple classes. Like, so you feel say if you open up 3 on Sundays, what's like 3 to 6, 3 to 7? Like, what was your
The gym was 24 hours. So I didn't have that standard hours. I was there all the time because between the gym and what I was doing, it was a combination of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
okay?
So, and with my partner, we made a good deal. It was, at the time, it felt a great deal actually. Was he wouldn't take any profit from the gym? I mean, from the karate school, you have 100% profit. You just work the office, assistant manager for free.
Mhm.
Win-win. That bite me in the ass later on, but that's a whole different conversation for a different topic.
Yeah.
But I was there insane hours.
Right.
You saying you're a workaholic? Own his business. You're
Oh,
doing
100%. Yeah.
120 hours.
That's the one thing I wouldn't say leery of, but I know that if I was going to open up a training facility, let's just say if I couldn't do it part-time. Like even now I do things sort of a la carte. Like I said, either people come here or I'll go to their spot. But if I was going to open up a facility, that's a minimum 16-hour day, because you're talking about 6 in the morning, especially with adults, because you got a lot of folks who like to train before work. A lot of guys who I know who own personal gyms and training studios and whatnot.
Mhm.
It's a 6 a.m. start because you're going to have that early crowd, and it's like a 9 p.m. end because people come in after work, and you're going to have clients there as well. So you're talking easily like a 15-hour day, and then again, 6 days a week minimum. You're going to be doing this thing. So
I understand.
that kind of commitment, because certainly with that, I mean, the number of clients that you have, and you have slots to fill. Like, so for me, I would be having slots like the 30, 45 minutes per client. Because again, when I train people, it's a short, brief, intense type of workout. So really the goal is to finish within 30 minutes. And so, so again, I would be setting at minimum, it'd be on the hour. Like you'd have like an hour block to get through. But, if I really get it going and cranking, then I may even shrink it down to like 45 minutes or maybe even a half an hour. Because usually a lot of times I'll train people on average, if I'm training a client and if I'm doing it certainly with the base program that I use, it's about 22 to 25 minutes. It's not very long at all. And so, in that case, I could possibly stack on, build on rate on the half hour. And I also bill per session, not time. Like people say you charge like 60 an hour or whatever the rate is. It's per session that you charge on. So again, if we go an hour, then it's still the same price if we go 30 minutes. But like I said, the goal is to get you out of there in 30 minutes or less. That's part of it. The fastest I trained somebody was probably 12 minutes. Because that also depends. It depends on the equipment. So like I have a lot of plate loaded equipment as you've seen. So
Mhm.
again, taking plates off, putting plates on, putting weight stacks back or whatnot. But if I had like if I'm in a place where they have like weight, you know, slide the pin and set up the weight or what have you, like when we went to Bethlehem gym,
Mhm.
the one that just
Muscle.
opened. Yeah, the one that yeah, Muscle the one that just opened. There, I might be able to get someone in there relatively fast. Also, if we go on the machine circuit, but if you're talking about loading equipment, plates, and taking things off, it's going to be longer. I probably spend more time doing that. But yeah, I've had gyms where there've been circuits where you can set up the machines ahead of time. You only get like 1 to 2 minutes break between movements, and you just keep going as a circuit. Fast I trained somebody, I think it's like 12 minutes. It's the fastest I've ever trained anybody. But it was in a very specific gym that I was able to set up certain stations ahead of time. So we just kind of boom, we just went through the workout from start to finish, boom, done, and then get out. But so again, the locale matters. And obviously, if you are in a gym setting, then that's going to change also because it's also going to be about availability. Like if someone's working on a machine and you can't really do anything.
If you
That's
go out
why
like at strange hours, like midnight, man, nobody's there.
yeah, or early, or super early in the morning. But that's why,
Even
that's
early, a lot
another
of
reason
people
why I prefer having my own setup where I know I can control it. I don't have to wait for anybody. And I can just, kind of get people in and out, and it's totally, I could totally be in my element. So I certainly understand the idea of, what the rigors of what it takes to own a business. For a lot of people who own business, again, definitely got to work more hours than a 9 to 5, and it doesn't end there because you also got to be mindful of the stuff that comes afterwards, the accounting that you have to do, the taxes that you have to be mindful of, the expenses, and
So, in came to taxes, I just hire somebody. I was not playing with the IRS. I'm not fucking with the IRS. I stay away from the IRS. I hire somebody. It was actually one of my students. He was in accounting, all that stuff. He goes,
hmm
and we're talking, and this is the beginning set of my
hmm
dojo.
yeah,
And he goes, and we're talking about business, and he goes to me, I'm an accountant. I don't know what I'm doing. If we made a deal, like, okay, I'll cut you a break on the classes. You cut me a break on the stuff. Oh,
yeah.
your agreement. We got it on
Yeah,
paper.
if you can find that, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. But some people have to get to a certain level of profitability so you can hire someone. Because again,
Yeah.
if you hire like an accountant, and again, I don't know what their rates are typically, but it's an accountant is definitely going to charge you a lot more than your monthly fee
Oh, I
for a
agree.
student.
So
You know what I'm
what
saying?
he did, he worked for a bit major company that
Yeah.
did accounting, but he also did something on the side. So he
They
also
all
started
yeah, and a lot of guys do that. I'm just saying, but they can charge, hiring a private
CC, I think
CPA
it's
or having
called.
those kind of services. They make a lot. Yeah, I know a lot of guys, especially doing tax season, who make a ton of money either filing tax returns or accounting stuff as a side hustle, and they work full time. I know a lot of guys who do that. So you're right. But some people you need to get to a certain level of profitability first, and that's why it's I think one of the hardest part about having any kind of business, especially in the training space or whatever, you put out a lot of upfront costs. So like if I was going to open up a facility, now I have a lot of equipment. If anything, I'd probably look to move a good portion of my equipment into that facility. So I got to get it out of my basement and I got to get it into. So that's going to take a while to move some stuff. Or if I want to staff it fully, then again, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars sometimes, even if I bought secondhand or used. Because again, the thing about fitness equipment is it's meant to last generally. It's metal, right? Barbells, dumbbells, plates, bars, things that even if you bought secondhand, they still command a decent premium, even secondhand and used. And I bought plates and things over the years from eBay or even my former Rutgers at the university. They had a warehouse where they would sell, some of the barbells or whatnot, or plates that maybe get worn out or rusted or whatever. I would buy those. In fact, I even got videos on my Instagram page where I've sanded them down
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
and I'll paint them in, different colors and whatnot. So I've done that in the past as well. In terms of refurbishing. plates. And a friend of mine, he just looking to get rid of stuff that they were really in bad condition, and I just loved on them a bit, and was able to still use them now. So again, there's a lot of upfront costs a lot of times when you have to start a business, and so waiting until you get some profits together until you become profitable. So again, so the question for me to you is, how much time did it take? Okay, so you just started open up. Did you start with a certain number of students? When did the business become profitable?
So
From the
to me,
time
it
you
was
open.
a little different than most people because I was already known in the area for as a martial arts
Mhm,
teacher, right? So when I got back into martial arts after my injury, I was teaching right away. So and then I was also teaching right about a few months before I opened the school. I got a contract of personal contract with Toby and an army to teach the army brats
mhm,
martial arts.
mhm,
So I had that. So a lot of them that when they heard, oh, Sensei P's open school, cancel my contract right now, and they came to me.
mhm.
Literally, they were flocking to me. I'm like, to the point like, okay, I gotta figure this out because I don't have the room.
Right,
So I had to schedule things a little differently a little bit at the time.
right, right.
And they just start growing and growing. Where I started going downhill was when economy took a shit. Very simple.
Yeah, for sure.
First thing that goes is after school activities
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, your luxuries and now the only thing I didn't see hit. I mean, obviously gyms. I've seen some private studio gyms go under, especially when the pandemic hit, for sure.
Hmm.
But at the same time, like the more open commercial gyms, there was such a backlash that back in New Jersey, you had a lot of guys who were like either had their gyms open anyway. And in fact, I thought there was something where some of those guys actually won. They sued because at the time people were saying, well, what's an essential business, right? And so they said, yeah, supermarkets and whatnot or Home Depot's essential, but gyms aren't essential. Some people won when people were saying you can't open during the pandemic and whatnot. Some people certainly were
I
able
kind of
to
agree with the government on that one. That it's not an essential business. To me, essential is you have to get
that's
you
a that's
medication.
a gr- that's a gray area because
Pun intended, right?
again, physical fitness or just that environment. And when we, like I said, when we went to Muscle Inc.,
Hmm.
tell any of those people who were there on the regular, all those bodybuilders, all those people were there. Tell them that that's not an essential aspect.
But you can also work out from home. But let's not get off topic too much.
I got you. I got you. But I'm my main point is again in terms of again profitability. When do you start making when you start making money and whatnot and having the business sustainable? Again, that may come and go with the economy, as you said.
Like I
And
said,
again,
mine was different because
yeah,
I my grand opening because I did a soft open and a hard open, a grand opening,
hmm,
right?
right,
My grand opening, like I see a line out the door and I pulled up, like, what the fuck is going on here?
hmm,
And I get a round of applause. Like I looked at all those students, like, you guys are at the other dojo. I don't want to advertise him, that's why I'm not going to say his name.
hmm,
I'm like, but he ran his business than I did. He never had a contract. You just if you don't want to renew your month, just don't pay me for the last month, and just let me know verbally you're done.
right,
I thought that was bad business practice. I always needed a 90 days in writing. You want to cancel
right,
because when I first started opening, I told all my students' parents like I'm not a bill collector. I am a teacher. Number one,
right. Now,
my
you had that on your own, or did like Master Ray teach you that? Who taught you like to have those the contracts and people sign stuff like how to put a
Master Ray,
contract
Master Ray,
together? Yeah,
Master Ray. And I saw
right.
other people doing it wrong. So when Master Ray opened, his wife was the bill collector, or we called her.
Mhm.
So he always say, "I'm the teacher, she's the bill collector." So if you need anything money wise, order
Yeah,
uniforms, weapons, you go to my wife.
yeah,
If you want something about private lesson or anything, come to me. And I did the same practice. My fiance at the time, my ex, she was my bill collector. I told her, I had three cell phones: my personal cell phone, her personal cell phone, and a business phone.
mhm,
And the business phone was everything that we needed. And like when I was, busy teaching, she'd call, "Hey guys, I saw you missed a payment this week. Is it okay? Can we, what can we do?" then I got to the point like this was getting too much, and it was like people were skipping payments and stuff like that. Like, and I looked into a company, they were charging me only 5% to do the bill collecting.
Right.
I wanted like, sweet, win-win for me. Why not? And I did it.
Right. Gotcha.
The only thing I didn't do, and I used my partners, I didn't have a credit card because he had one. He didn't, I just gave him back the 5% or 3%, whatever percentage it was, and we worked it out like that. When they want to order stuff, it's rare when people, most people are like, I told him, if you give me cash, I can save you $20 because it was cheap. They buy in bulk stuff usually. That's why I told parents, wait to his bulk. It's cheaper. I can save you money. And I saw him the catalog, and I saw him like, you can buy this uniform right now for $20.99, but if you buy the uniform, the nunchucks, this, and I had packages. I matte laminated. I had a book and everything. I had Central book and my personal book. This is what they're gonna charge you right here. This is what I would charge you instead. He goes, oh, I'm saving $150. Yeah, because you're buying bulk. Because now I can order everybody, and I can save you money, save me money, and we're both in nice, great partnership.
Yeah.
He looked at me like, you've been doing this for a while. Like, call my instructor. Tell him that.
Yeah.
They used to laugh at it.
Speaking of instructors, did you ever get to a point where you hired other instructors, or what was the
Actually, I did that first, and it bit me in the ass big time.
Okay.
The reason it bit my ass, they were trying to what was that word? Steal my students, poach my students. Because he was working in another school, or it was twice I had this problem with the same person. First, he was trying to poach my students he was trying to go to another dojo. And I looked at him like, you're still under contract for a year.
Yeah.
Once your contract doesn't renew, you have a non-compete for 90 days.
Right.
And then he tried to poach him, try to open his own school.
Right.
Then my lawyers got involved, and they came a cease and desist letter saying now that but when we stopped the contract, I also had a fine print. Now the 90 days got doubled. I doubled it if you got terminated from me. That was the first and last time I would hire anybody who did not learn under me or Master Ray.
And that's a thing also that even from a training perspective, that's tough. Because again, I have a very specific method of training that I want to be replicated. Like, this is your brand, right? So you want that brand to be replicated, especially in those who are going to be teaching it. It's like you said, if the person wasn't certified under you, but even if they are, I mean, we've seen this in the past also. I mean, people think about, even within your discipline, you said there were certain things that Master Ray taught that you disagreed with.
Yeah.
So then what's to stop you then from implementing that once you go on your own and doing something else? So the idea of how do you maintain a certain standard when it comes to instruction, when it comes to, so yeah, go ahead. So talk about that, because that's always been my thing as far as
Master Ray he was good with paperwork always. When I'm saying he worked 120 hours a week, it was understatement. He lived, breathed, and died for this, literally.
Right.
So when you became a certain rank, when you became black belt, he required you to sign a paper saying you're not going to compete against him in any shape, way, or form. If you want to do like some YMCA class for free, he's okay with that. Just ask him. It will say in the paperwork. Just ask me. If I don't ask you, then we're talking about lawyers getting involved, and you don't want that. The L word was like a no in the karate the world. So when he came down to open another school, he goes, you got two choices. You can open on your own brand, and that's fine, but it has to be X, Y, and Z miles from my dojo. So we're not competing against each other.
Right.
I think that was very fair. Or you open under his banner and you get a what you call it? Trying to think of the name of it. A kickback for him. Very simple. I think it was a fair either way.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm saying that might be the hardest part. Like, I can certainly see someone, they want to open up their school, have non-compete clauses, certain distance away from you. That's almost easier than trying to simply duplicate or to create a system. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want, like I said, if you want, you have your own philosophy in terms of how you want it done. You have a philosophy in terms of how you want people trained, kids. Again,
Correct.
it could be a temperament thing, like how you talk to people. Like if you got people who are very, again, just me personally, right? I don't profane, right?
Hmm.
So I wouldn't want, even if you were a good trainer, if I was to say open up a studio and I would hire trainers to work in the studio, I'm gonna be like, no, you don't use foul language in front of anybody. That to me, foul language in business is bad business
Yeah.
because you
We
don't know who you're.
also
Yeah,
there are also dojos out there. There are Christian dojos, believe it or not.
right, right. So again, you have to employ people or work with people who are going to align and make sure that there's consistency. So let's say, 'cause what if I have to go away for a while for whatever reason?
And that's the hardest
And be
part.
like, here, I'm turning over the keys to you. You're running the dojo. Can I have any kind of assurance or confidence that things are going to be done in there? I mean, that's why I understand franchising and how franchising works.
Yeah.
Franchising,
So I can
you
answer
have
that
to
question.
follow the rules if you want the franchise. And I'm saying even for something like martial arts, which is something that is passed on traditionally from
Correct.
student to student, you have to ensure that, again, that student is working through you, or certainly through your principles, and not just going and doing their own thing. I'll forget what Master Peter said. This is what I'm going to teach you. I mean, it can wreck your business, and it can lead to those kind of divisions and splits and whatnot. And half your students are going with this guy, and the other half are staying with you. So that
So I
that
can answer this
piece,
question two different
yeah.
ways. So I'm gonna answer it one way. When Master Ray passed and it was Shin in command, he needed to take a trip back to Japan for a little bit. It was a couple years later, and he looked at me, and I was out of work. Dojo went, we just
Mhm,
sat down. He goes, "Hey, do you mind running a dojo? I'll pay you very well."
mhm,
I don't remember the numbers in the back of my head, to be honest with you.
mhm,
I went, "Sweet, yeah." He had very trustworthy people to run the
mhm.
dojo everyday operation. So we have everything, he monitored paperwork, all the nine jazz. He had a good
Right.
system working for him. Now, with the other instructor I worked with, I didn't like his system at all, to be honest with you, because when he went on his honeymoon, he put the instructors in charge, myself and another instructor. I won't say names.
Mhm,
And one of his rules was, if it's a snow day for school, we're shut down for the day too.
mhm,
No school, no class. Same thing with holidays and all that stuff. So I looked at him and he opened. He goes, "Where are you?" Or like, "Dude, it's a snow day. I'm open." And like, I went over like we kind of butted heads. And when we came back, I kind of talked to him like, "Yo, X, Y, Z." I said, "This is what happened." He goes, "I'm gonna have a conversation with him, and you were right not to argue with him. And you were very professional, but my rules are similar. I'm not changing those rules. No
mhm,
school, no class. Simple."
mhm.
And he had to apologize to the parents afterwards, obviously.
Right. Yeah, but it's little things like that can be detrimental. I mean, I think
Absolutely.
in those kind of businesses, you need disciples, right? You don't just need students; you need disciples. You need to replicate yourself, and that's a selection process. You can have somebody in I'm sure you've seen this. You can have students that are better as far as like the martial art, but they may not have your um, mindset. And so, even though this person might be a better martial artist, if you were to match them against someone else may have the mindset that you want to employ to other people. And then, therefore, you may want to make that person an instructor or head instructor over the other guy, even though the other guy's more talented.
Correct.
And that can go a whole lot of different ways, right? I mean, the guy could be that'd be like Anakin not getting promoted to Jedi Master, right? It's like he was clearly like, one of the best,
I
but
had students like that. They they
yeah,
they wanted to get promoted, but they weren't ready.
yeah,
They weren't ready, and parents getting upset with me. I'm like, "Listen, let the process work itself. At what time comes, just don't be so eager to get the belt right now. The belt is only holding your pants up. End of
yeah,
the day,
yeah,
it's learning the knowledge. Just
yeah,
when he's ready. And sometimes it wasn't not no knowledge. They were gifted students, but they're not mature enough for it.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And people think it's a meritocracy in terms of, hey, if I'm the best fighter, I've won the most tournaments, and bringing prestige to the school or whatnot. I should be in certain positions, and it could be like no. I mean that's a tough pill to swallow for some people. So again, your discipline matters greatly when
Oh,
it comes
so
to
much.
to that mindset. But yeah, so you have some success. Unfortunately, economic, which can certainly happens to a lot of,
Yeah.
especially small businesses and whatnot. But you
Unfortunately, it's
still
the area I live in too. That's the other factor too.
yeah
It's everything is like a hike to get anywhere. At least in Mount Pocono, where I lived up there, it was a hike.
right
It's now
right
it's a little different world up there, but that is a combination of stuff.
right
National, it was the area I lived in. My business partner wasn't he
right
wasn't the greatest business partner to go with.
right
He cared about the gym more than dojo. And if
mhm,
the dojo grew, the business his gym grow, and gym grow, the dojo grow. And he
right
didn't understand that. He cared about
right
his business only mostly.
right. So if you were going to open up another school again so what's the plan? So you're saying within 5 years, when do
I
you
can't
think
say
if
that right
you
now
are
because I don't have a set plan right now because I know
okay
myself. I want to open another one eventually.
right
If I do open another one, it'll be very small. If I'm blessed to buy a house, I might just start in the house, like in a garage or the basement or something like that.
okay
That's
okay
my plan. I want to get a house eventually with like a basement or an attic that I can
right
get my own little space, like have a studio for this and a
mhm,
workout space and even a little dojo area. Start
mhm,
small, like maybe 5 students, and grow slowly. Once
yeah
I grow enough, I feel comfortable. Okay, the money's coming in now. Let's pull the trigger and open a dojo.
right
Like,
right
but the spot has to be right. The price tag behind that has to be right because insurance alone is expensive as
oh
shit
yeah
for
for
that.
sure for
Because
sure
you need insurance because kids are gonna get hurt. I had a couple kids get hurt, and
yeah
my insurance will cover only so much because
right
you signed that waiver.
yeah
So if it's something like elect on the that's why I had cameras everywhere.
mhm,
I found out it was like on my instructors, like they're going to get the ass shoot out.
yeah
But 9 out of 10 times, it wasn't a collecting student. It was just kids being kids. I had
yeah
a kid who was goofing around in the locker room. Next minute, I hear them screaming. I'm like, oh, fuck, what the hell happened?
yeah
So I wasn't in the girls' locker room. I couldn't go in there, obviously.
mhm,
Once she comes out, her finger was like popped out. I'm like, oh, shit.
mhm,
And obviously, one of the things we also learn is how to deal with injuries as instructors.
right
And
right
I was able to pop the finger back, but I told the parent, "You got to take her to ER. This is
yeah
nothing I did wrong. They're goofing around in the locker room."
right
He goes, "They're hurt in the lobby. They
right.
were goofing around." I'm like, I know
And
they were.
even though you can have, it's just like prenups, right? You can have what's called typically ironclad type of agreements or whatever. It's like, yeah, you signed it, but they always try to find a workaround. If you grossly negligent in terms of allowing certain things to happen in your dojo. I mean, some lawyer always try to make a case to try to invalidate even a signed waiver. They'll try to do that, especially in
Absolutely.
an area where you're going to get hit or possibly hurt in the practice of training someone. So that's something you really can't get you can't you can't get away with. But yeah, I mean it's certainly if and when it does happen for you, where that opportunity opens up to start back. But what would you want to start, or do you just want to get back in? Because I got a feeling
Right
like with
now,
you, it's just
right now,
getting yourself back in. Because I got to think there's got to be a different mindset when you're not only running the school, but you're in the thick of it yourself. You're training. You're getting your butt kicked every day again and whatnot. I would think that would have to be something that would need to be part of it as well. That you need to be all in, not just teaching people, but your personal martial arts journey. I would think that would almost have to start first before you would consider opening up another a gym again.
so I'll answer this 2 different ways. So I'll answer one. I had an opportunity to get back into it at one point,
Mm,
and the sensei me couldn't stop. So as he's teaching the class, and we're having that conversation. He goes, like, you cannot stop being a sensei sometimes, and a different style. And he knew that, and I was just
mm,
trying to help, and he loved to help. It
mm.
just timing didn't work for us. Like we were trying to come in agreement, like
Yeah,
maybe you can teach a class once or twice on a different style, your style, and I'll teach you for free kind of thing.
Right.
It just time didn't work out because of my work schedule. All right.
Yeah.
So me right now at this point in my life, I like to get back into it. I mentioned that to you multiple times over the years.
Yeah.
Is right now timing. That's always holding me back. Right now,
Right.
I wouldn't go in as, and I have the mindset right now too. I wouldn't go in as a sensei. I would go in as a student, as a white belt. I want to learn something different, something
Correct.
new that I can later incorporate into what I already learned and kind of mold it to my own creation.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it'd be certainly it'd be good, certainly for you to do that, and I think it would help your potential business because again, there's something about um, being able to empathize with people who, again, yes, I'm busy, yes, I got a full time job, yes, I have certain things or whatever, and a lot of times people just need to be reassured that yes, you can do this. Yes, I know everyone's working, everybody's got kids, everyone's got a career, or certain things, but again, if you have the will, you create an environment where things can be done, and so certainly again, you getting back into your personal martial art and resume that martial art journey, I think that's going to help you in all these other aspects once you get started again, because again, parents especially, they're looking for understanding, they're looking for empathy. And again, you might have been good at something 20, 30 years ago, but there's nothing like being in it. Like me as a trainer, I train myself more than anybody else. I talk to myself. I coach myself as hard than anybody else. So I never give anybody an instruction that I haven't worked out myself in my own lab. And so me being trained or me training and looking the way I look, feeling the way I feel, being able to empathize when that delayed muscle soreness kicks in the next day, or what have you. Like the fact that I can still relate to everything, and even when I'm instructing people, like I can go pretty heavy. Like I got one, my main guy, he trains pretty heavy, but I can still out train him. He's bigger than me, but I'm stronger than him.
Yeah, for me
like
to
I
get
can
back
still
to it,
I can still get in there. If we were going to work out together, I would still train him under the table, even though he outweighs me by almost 60 pounds.
yeah.
But I can still, just in the, so when I'm showing him how to do things or whatever, like I'm doing it. I'm not just saying, okay, sitting on the sidelines and doing it. To me, it makes a difference. And it just adds to authenticity when they know, oh snap, he's in the thick
So
also.
one thing I would say
Yeah.
is me getting back into teaching, I have to become a student first,
Correct.
get my feet wet,
Yes.
because they're gonna look at me and like, you've been out of the game for so long. Can you?
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm
No,
saying.
no. Even if you're like, okay, I majored in mechanics. I'm like, if I left cooking and I went back to mechanics, they're gonna look at my resume like,
Yeah,
what
I
the
haven't
hell are you
done
doing
anything
here?
relevant in years. Yeah.
And I respect that.
Mhm.
Even if you try and change careers, let's say you want to get into warehousing, and like they're like, you have 20 plus years of cooking. Why you want to be in a warehouse?
Mhm.
Is because whatever reason you have,
Yeah,
that goes with it.
absolutely.
So training in martial arts again is top of my list. I'm not gonna lie, but I have so much other responsibilities right now. I got
That's right.
mom to worry about. A new pup is the number one priority right now to me.
Yes.
He's a little rascal, actually.
Mhm.
I feel like I bought a little devil, actually. But I'm getting attached to him already at this point. But
Mhm.
then I have the channel to worry about. I have my full time job that is demanding a lot from me lately,
Mhm.
and I want to worry about my also physical health
Yeah, for
because I
sure.
have goals for myself this year.
Yeah.
And when I put a goal in myself, nothing stops me, Paul. I'm gonna get there. We're all gonna get our goals.
Amen.
I have goals for
Amen.
the channel. I have goals. That's one thing Marcel taught me. Once you put a goal, nothing will stop you getting there. It's
That's right.
only time.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, again, I want to thank you certainly for being part of the conversation
It's
tonight.
my pleasure.
And again, certainly for our audience, again, the coach, Coach Trey, he will be back with us. We'll start resuming our partnership on January 8th of next year. Next week, obviously, we're not going to have a show because that's Christmas Day. So again, if we don't see you until next year, certainly wishing everyone certainly a very Merry Christmas.
One thing we will
and
do,
enjoy your
guys.
holidays. Also, Hanukkah is also going on, celebrations as well. So anything, Kwanzaa is going to be taking place day after Christmas. So whatever you celebrate in this time, certainly, hope it be merry. And really, I also want to make a special shout out to those who might be struggling, because I know people who've lost. I mean, Peter just lost in these times. So a lot of people get very depressed around the holidays because lost loved ones and things like that. So I know a lot of people who are just don't get into the spirit because it's just too painful for them. So I just want to give a shout out to those people as well who may be going through during these times. And I would just encourage you but don't pull away. Embrace those who are giving you love, who are giving you affirmation in these times. And don't worry about necessarily the event per se, but worry about the people that are in your circle that are thinking about you and whatnot. And again, if you know somebody who might be going through things like that, reach out to them in these times and let them know that they're thought about and they're cared for during these times. But for people to go through these situations alone, that can also lead to additional things that I won't get into here. But we have to be mindful of that, of people who may be struggling through. So again, your physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual health during these holiday seasons. Don't neglect that, and don't think you have to suffer in silence. When again, there are people out there who be willing. You have no idea how many people are willing to give you time if you ask for it. And but if you will go around saying, "Hey, everything's fine, I'm fine," and everything, then you just expect people just to show up.
I
Again,
can speak for experience. Last week,
mhm.
when Alex passed, everybody asked me, "You okay? You okay?" And what was my answer, Paul? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I was not okay.
Mhm.
Me doing the gray area on Alex was not closer, but it helped me get over the hump I needed.
Yeah. And I told you after the show, you need to do that.
Yeah.
You need to do that. And I'm glad that I was able to help you through that. And then we done last week. We also did a tribute show to Alex on your Spartan Arena show. We did a little something. Mariana, she really helped me with that show. And then Gray Area, we were able to kind of bring you back certainly into the fold. And I knew you weren't necessarily ready, but it's like he needs to do this. So
Yeah,
was
I know
gonna,
I needed to. It was like, that's
Yeah.
why I didn't push back. I told you I was going to do it, and I did it. But one
Yeah.
thing I will say, if you know somebody who's struggling and you can spend a little time with them, spend the time with them.
Yeah, man.
If they're the favorite hobby is to go have a cigar or go watch a movie or just relax and have coffee.
Yeah, it doesn't
Give 'em a hug.
always have to be heavy. Keep
Yeah.
it light, keep it whatever. But just again, your presence, just being there for them during this time means a lot. And you can certainly be doing a great benefit to someone. But again, I want to thank Peter for being with us once again. Next Gen Training, again, January 8th, we go back in full. But enjoy your holiday. Also, the week after that, I think it's New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So probably not going to have a show. Or we may do a
Well,
replay
yeah, I
of
was
an
gonna say we're
earlier
gonna
show.
have two replays on there.
Yeah. So
I don't know
we'll
which
do a
one's gonna
replay
play.
of an earlier show then. But definitely looking forward. I reached out to Coach tonight, so he's definitely all in for January 8th to resume again. And we'll start
Hopefully he
some new
stays retired
chapters.
this time.
What's that?
Hopefully he stays retired this time.
Yeah, I think he's committed. He's done. He is. But I
He
think,
said
but
it
I
last
really,
time.
I think, well, he hadn't coached like that in years. But I just really appreciate, because, like I said, it's walking like you talk it, right? I mean, there's a lot of people who say things or whatever, but he was willing to get his hands dirty, take the incoming from parents, from these kids, and he was willing to stand in that gap. And I was saying that some people might not even appreciate it now, but you're gonna have these kids a few years from now. They're gonna be like, thank you, coach, for stepping in and showing that you cared about us.
Remember him. I'm 100%.
Yeah. So I'm saying that that like whatever he did, even as frustrating it will not go in vain. That's my main point.
I agree with him saying.
That he will definitely continue to make an impact in one way or another. And certainly through Next Gen Training, we hope to continue to do that. Although I have no intention of coaching any 5th or 6th grade basketball teams. I have no intention of
And
doing that.
later on, maybe the first show or second show, you guys come back. Maybe we can kind of do a part 3, finish this series up too.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, we'll
Sounds
have
like
all
a
3
plan.
of us on.
For sure. For
So,
sure.
Close it up. You're
All right, guys. So again, thank you again for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button as you leave the show tonight. Consider becoming a subscriber to the Sparta HQ Network as we give you content throughout the week. Several shows. We got the Tuesday. We got the got a show on Tuesday. We got the Wednesday show. We got the Anime Unlock on Friday. We got the Hangout on Saturday. We got the Gray Area on Sunday. So again, this channel is popping, and we're just looking to blow it up. 2026. We're excited about where this direction is going. We had a nice meeting. We got, we're getting more focused in terms of our content, and I'm looking for great things certainly for the next year. But certainly for myself, Mr. Bennett, and he is
This is Sparta!
the Ghost of Sparta, the CEO, the big grand poobah, the big Spartan himself, Peter. Again, this is Next Gen Training. For all of us, enjoy your holiday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. God bless. And we will see you next time. Good night. Do you have the?
Oh, you want me to do it? I thought you were.
I gotta go back into the. I still got to split roles between the host and the sport. I think I got it.
As always, guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe, stay fresh. We'll catch you on the next one.